Hello there. We're going to do a very simple counter example, very similar to the one that you find on React hooks example. It's basically a very simple counter using useState, as you can see here. It's just an example, and we're going to just show the same thing in, let's do CodePen. That's pretty straightforward. So if we go to CodePen, taking this simple React example, we're going to use mag.js to do the same thing. So first, let me just fork this, and I'll put the code pen in the video description. I'm going to say simple counter. Okay. So we don't need the root. We're not going to do kind of the normal React way to do it, you might say, where you kind of attach it at the end. Let's get rid of everything here. So in this simple counter, we're going to grab the example app that they have at React. All right. So taking that, and since it's mostly HTML, we're just going to grab the HTML. I'll put that over there, but grab the HTML over here. All right. So in the body tag, we have that. And the counter, we're just going to make a simple count tag. We don't need the on-click in there. And you know what I'm going to do too? Add a little, what is it, the MagJS little thing here. Grab that. Okay, so here's the URL to mag.js, just so you have access to that. Actually, I want to give you access to the tree URL. That's the module. So in this example, we're not going to do kind of for the modules, but I'm going to create an example. I'm not even going to call it example, but this is what they have at the React example. So with mag.js, everything goes through the mag function, right? So here, let's step back a second. First, let's give this guy, we're going to call him counter to access him. So in mag.js, just to kind of bring things back, that's how you create your function definition. So here we're going to call it counter. Oops. All right, so there's your counter. That's the HTML. And here's your function definition. Basically your props and whatever you return. So for instance, you could return count. Or let's just mess around and say, hey. So that kind of like takes over this top level component there, or HTML, and you have access to everything inside of there. So, but notice nothing happened, right? So why didn't anything happen? Because we didn't call a counter. So to run counter, you have to call it if it's already attached into the HTML. Again, nothing has happened there. So counter mag. So why isn't anything happening? Let's try something else. So if I just turn object, and let's say count equals 0. Let's try that. I don't know if I even have. Do we have it? Yeah, no, it's right there. Let's go back here. Let's see what's going on. So we have our div, count, button. Everything looks good to me. Maybe because of our example. Let's get rid of our example. Let's try it again. There we go. The 0 showed up. So it's probably some JavaScript errors. Let's show the hey again. All right, you see it adds it to the first element there. What if I return null? it's all gone. Oh, okay, that's it. Let me just do a null object. Let's try that. Doesn't look like anything happened there. Well, normally you would just map things such as anything within the top level container, the p tag, name attribute, class name, tag name. So here we want count to equal 0, right? But we want it to be passed as a property. So we can just make a default value here and just say return count. And then we'll have it 0. But we want something to happen when you click it. So with the button, we want to add on click behavior. Basically, we want to call our function again. We want to say on click call the counter with a new count value of count plus 1. Now, nothing happened there because our count, oh, there's our error. Let's try it again. There we go. So now you see it incrementing. And let's also look at the HTML, make sure that only that number is being changed. So here we can see our counter, we see the there. So let's see. Move that up a little bit. Oops. Element. Okay, so here's our generated HTML. This should be the only thing that changes. As you can see there, nothing else is getting re-rendered. So unlike in React where you just have an HTML root, with MagJS you can do that, or you can just do with any of whatever's in the document objects HTML. So if you're doing a module, normally you wouldn't have a document object, you would have some inline HTML. So you can do the same thing. Grab that. You could say constant counter HTML equals, and then you just pass in that here, counter HTML. But now how do you get it into here? So that's where you go kind of in the React standard of root. You have some sort of top level element. And here with mag, it's the same thing except you just map it to the root. You could do it actually that way, or you can do it with the document object. It's pretty flexible. You could do it either way. But it basically has the same effect as where you're adding it to the object. Once it's added, whenever it's called, it's just re-rendering the parts that's being changed. So that's basically it. You know, if you want a single counter, like that little example there, this is one way to do it. You could put the inline HTML, so it's more if you're using a module system, or you can just directly call it like this, referencing the element you're pointing to, and they don't need to attach it at all to anything specific. This is kind of your initialization, and this is you're calling it when you're changing state. So that's a quick, simple example. I'll post a link to this CodePen. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.